like a lot of people for a long time, I've wanted to grow my following, build a personal brand online. And I think, again, like a lot of people, you try, nothing happens, and you give up. I had the blessing of being introduced to a girl who's a brand specialist. She helps people build brands online, and she's been helping me. I'm going to give my first 4 weeks working with her. The first week, she explained to me how the algorithm works. She's got friends in Facebook and is connected to people at the top of the game. She's taken one woman from 200 people to 1.1 million in the fitness space. Another one had, I think, 5,000. She's now got 500,000. But basically, what she does works. And I want to share this because I've tried a few times to have a push online, and I wouldn't say it flopped. The first thing, as I've always said on this channel, is that my head was not ready to do the work, to put my work out there, to believe in myself. I've said this so many times on this channel, you've got to be in a place where your brakes are released, where you believe in yourself, where you have healthy self-esteem. And healthy self-esteem is not about being humble, which some people interpret as having low self-esteem. No, healthy self-esteem is about believing in yourself, not being arrogant or narcissistic, but believing in yourself. And I just wasn't at that place. I've read 53 books in the last 18 months, maybe. On psychology, the subconscious. Anyway, so I started working with this woman. You've got to have that piece in place first. You have to believe in yourself. You have to have a healthy self-esteem. Then after that, you've got to be able and willing to put in the work. To be honest, normally both of those are connected. When you procrastinate and when you don't manage your time properly, as I've done today, but when you do that consistently for months on end, it could be a number of things. It could be that you're isolated. You're not, sometimes environment dictates performance. You need to get around the right people. But it can be because in some cases, I've spoken to a lot of younger guys, they pretty much despise themselves. They really don't see life as a joy. And I've been there. I think a lot of people have been there, and they're not happy. They're not sure about who they are. And they're dealing with something from the past that maybe they're not even aware of. That's got to be resolved. I'm a firm believer in that. I'm no psychologist, but you've got to believe in yourself. Your head's got to be right. And when I went on that meetup with Iman Gadzhi, he kept coming back to that. These guys younger than me were asking him, "Man, how do I get to this? How do I get to that? I want to do this. What do you think?" And he almost always said, "Guys, you've got to essentially do the inner work. You've got to believe in yourself." I mean, he's recommended books like Psycho-Cybernetics, which is about self-image, incredibly powerful. How you see yourself affects how you act toward other people, which then influences how they act back to you. So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you feel that your self-image is not good, read Psycho-Cybernetics, but it's a catch-22, because if your self-esteem is not good or you have trauma, you probably really struggle to read. There's a book called Scattered Minds by Gabor Mate. I've not read it yet, but I've heard it's all about this. Where does ADHD really come from? And I've had that big time. I could sit there and read one paragraph in a book, if I was not careful, for 10 minutes. It could take me 20 minutes to read a page, and I could not tell you what I just read. I did a speed reading course by Jim Quick, helped me. I just basically, again, listening to Iman, he said, you've got to schedule time to read. So anyway, Iman talks about self-image, Psycho-Cybernetics. If you struggle to read, schedule to read 1 page a day and celebrate that win afterward. Again, book Tiny Habits, more books to read, but start reading books that shape your mindset and deal with trauma if you have it. You've got to get that out of the way. And as I said, Iman, he just kept saying that. I mean, he's a guy who's clearly done the work. He's clearly done that. I mean, the guy went through a lot growing up, I think. Sure, there are people who've had harder lives than him and whatever, but goodness, he had his share of valleys to go through, that's for sure. But that piece has got to be in place, okay? Then you're ready to do the work. It's still a struggle. You still procrastinate. I mean, I've seen a man put posts up saying that he still procrastinates to this day. That's a guy earning 8 figures a year, I think, tens of millions. All right. But so I started working with this brand specialist, and I want to share a lesson. Basically, you've got to film a batch of content. If I were to give you a formula, there's a lot that she's taught me. But you've got to film a batch of content. Do not, in my opinion, try and film one post, edit one post, write the caption for the post all on one day. You will never, it's like a broken, you start, stop, start, no. Film 30 pieces in a batch. And really, I mean 30 pieces. I thought, it's great, I'll film 5. No. Figure out who your target market is, the problem you're solving, and then put bits of content, short tips to help them. I don't know, you struggle to approach girls, guys. So first thing is to fix your self-image. Here's one book, Psycho-Cybernetics. Boom, done. Just put that on a camera, real. Okay, next thing, have you become insular? So you're online gaming. Stop that and do anything to be around people more. Social skills are crucial. People like you more than you realize. Join a sports club, give them a simple application. Film 30, and 90% of those bits might bomb, that's fine. But what you'll start to find is you will start to realize what people like. You'll get more confident on the camera, you'll learn how to edit, keep it simple. Complexity is the enemy of execution. Super simple, just put a camera. If I were to give you now the basics you need, it's a camera on a phone, wipe the lens, a tripod, get a nasty Chinese plastic one for 8 quid, put that down on a table so you have stability, or you could do what I'm doing now, and a light. And then if I was to add just a cheap light, from the side slightly and up, not flat on your face, so you get like the, what I call it, Rembrandt triangle, which I'm not doing any of this now. Here, let's fix this. Oh, look at that. Bit of lighting, okay. Makes me look horrendous, okay, because I'm knackered and whatever. So camera, tripod, light. If I was to add one more thing, but you don't need to, it would be a microphone. But remember, complexity is the enemy of execution. Film 30 bits of content, get that done, and then they're short, like 5 to 20 seconds with an application. Invest in a bit of editing. This is one more thing I would say probably is worth it if you're going to do this, is invest in InShot. A lifetime membership's like $40. Much cheap is a very good option. The first 5 or 10 edits that you do, keep it simple. It's going to take you hours. It's normal. I wish somebody told me that. There's nothing wrong with you. You will get quicker. Figure out a system. So I have a flow that I go through. My first thing is I cut the clip down to size before I put it into InShot. So I do that I have an iPhone. You just scale it back, trim the edge off, put a filter on that I like, import it to InShot. I add subtitles with a font I like, so that will take you a few minutes to figure that out. But once this is all standardized, you're good. Then I trim and put a couple of effects in the first 2 seconds to hold attention, and then bam, put it out there. Okay, so capture the content, 30 bits. Schedule a time in your day when you're going to edit that clip. Keep it simple and develop a system, and then put those clips out there. I think you've got to do every day. I remember trying to bargain with myself because I was trying to film on the same day. I'd put all the lighting up, put a tripod up, very inefficient, film a clip, take about 101 takes because I was being a perfectionist. Wrong. Maximum 3 or 4 takes. There's a guy I know who's making, how much is he making? He's a fitness influencer. He's doing about, I would say about 30 to 50,000 a month. And he said his first videos were awful. Okay, he said, I used to tell people to do 100 bits of content and you'll just get better. It's inevitable by the 101st when you look back. He says, I now tell people just to do 500, commit to 500. And the point he's making is set your expectations low for 500 and you'll be surprised that by clip number 30, learn to speak. I mean, another book, TED Talks, you can get that, but you don't need to. Just give 10% more energy. I mean, I'm just talking to, I'm not trying to present here. I'm just being me here. I'm really, I want to help. I'm talking to who I was a couple of years ago when I really should have started doing this a couple of years ago. I mean, maybe you're 20 and looking for, if you've got some value you can give to the world, and you have, so something you're passionate about, you're unique about, you know a bit more than the average person, or you're on a journey learning to do something, document the process. Tell people I'm doing this. Okay, so batch film 30 bits of content and then schedule it, get InShot for $40 for a lifetime membership, or don't, just try and edit it in Instagram, whatever, keep it simple. And then schedule a time each day where you're going to quickly do an edit, don't be perfect, and punch it up onto Instagram every day at the same time. And that's how you get started. Joe Polish, great marketing guru. I know a lot of the guys who make big money, all of them, well, not all, a lot of them have ended up at his mastermind. Lewis Howes, Garen Jones, a lot of these guys who are making like 7 figures, you know. He says the best way to get started is to get started. I hope this helps. I wish I could help you more, but I think if you want more on this, I'm growing. So the whole reason I left this video was to say, we filmed a batch of content. I've been putting content out there every day now for 2 weeks. You know what's happened? I've lost followers. Now what happens there is people now see, I was always very careful with what I was posting, not putting any cliche content, anything to give quick tips, everything I thought it had to be, you know, really well thought out. It's the wrong thing to do. Just put out quick wins, easy tips to help people, to get them to like, know, and trust you. Classic marketing, three rules. Like, know, and trust you. But we've put out now for 2 weeks. Even the brand girl is slightly, she said, we need to, the next time we meet, she's going to help me record the batch of next 30 clips. But remember, you could just do that with a tripod on your own. Just brainstorm on a bit of paper, 30 topics. You know, how I don't know, maybe not how you brush your hair in the morning, but I don't know, some hack to get ready quicker in the morning. Figure out who the guy is you want to help. Maybe it was you 5 years ago, and give value to him. That's another way to do it. Or if you're very good at approaching women, which I would say 98% of guys are not, because it's uncomfortable, especially in England. We don't have that kind of, you know, in America, they're much more forward. Certainly I know some Eastern European guys, they will just go up to women. They literally, the women will tell them to leave. They don't care. They'll leave, they won't harass them, but they'll just go straight to the next guy. And it's a numbers. So if you're good at doing that, then leave tips for people. If you're learning judo, document the process. My first week at judo, I hated it, it sucks, but I'm gonna commit, and this is gonna be my journey. Anything, you know, how to help someone. But yeah, we've put content out for 2 weeks now and nothing's happened. But on one of my platforms, I've just had a reel. I was having like a reel do 5 views. Another one did 36 views. And these are reels where, you know, if you pay an editor, you might be paying 20 to 30 pounds a reel. Okay, or just edit them yourselves. Remember, a light, okay, try and get some lighting from the side, a phone and a tripod. And you give the energy, like learn to give energy. Get that book, TED Talks, and learn how to speak. Or another great book, How to Stand Out by Rob Young. Really, really good book on how to speak, using pauses, change of tone, blah, blah, blah. That was very bad, but you have to practice these things. Yeah, but we put 2 weeks worth, nothing happened. But on one of my platforms on YouTube, which is a fitness channel, I help people to get in shape and stay in shape, break out of the rut of being a fat guy, which is what I used to be. And I hated it. And I really want to help the poor guy who's dealing with that, because I was there once. And I genuinely thought people were born fat or in shape. But anyway, on one of the platforms, on that one, my YouTube one, it's called Mind Body Coach. I got, what did I get? Like 1.1 thousand in 48 hours on a reel, which is like tiny numbers for a good influencer. But for me, You got to take the wins and say, hey, that's more than 5, it's more than 36, which are some of the other ones I did. So as this guy I know who's earning easily 30 to 50 grand a month, he would say just commit to 500 pieces of content. I think that might be a bit much. I would say commit to 90 days. Batch film 3 lots of 30, batch record those, learn to edit very quickly, do a 5-minute YouTube tutorial, basic editing, and camera, wipe the lens with a cloth so it's not smeared, tripod, a light, maybe a microphone, but you won't need it unless you're in a noisy environment. And that's it. Figure out that's really important first of all, you fix your own head, make sure you believe in yourself, then figure out who you can help. What are you passionate about? What could you teach people about? What value can you bring? What would you be happy to film 500 pieces on? You know, there's a guy who's got like a radio controlled car channel. He races these, they're called Tamiya. Tamiya, like when I was much younger, they had these Japanese RC cars. The guy's got like, I don't know, like 500,000. Yeah, just find your niche. There's a guy with a paintball channel who's a bit of a bugger, I think, on the courses. He shoots people in the balls and stuff, and he records it in slow-mo. He's an people find it funny, but find out what value you can bring, either to educate or entertain. I hope this helps someone. Don't be discouraged in the first 20 posts if nothing happens. Keep going. Figure out who you can serve. What book would I recommend you read to get started on that? Make sure you believe in yourself. That's number one. And a book for that, there's Psycho-Cybernetics, The 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem, if you feel you have low self-esteem. And if you've been traumatized growing up, then you've got to read some inner child theory books, I would say. Understand family dynamics. So there's Healing the Shame That Binds You by John Bradshaw. He's got another one called Homecoming, How to Connect with Your Inner Child Theory. It's inner child theory. It's just a part of your psyche. Really powerful stuff. Be careful doing that stuff. You might want to get a trained counselor. Anyway, this is all the advice I wish that somebody gave me a couple of years ago, or 10 years ago, whatever, 15 years ago. It's been a heck of a journey. I wish you all the best. Reach out if you have any questions. Sorry, it's not very well laid out, this video. I've just kind of fired out. It's something I wanted to get off my chest because I'm going to document this journey. Yeah, so working with the brand specialist, we're in batch 1 of 30 bits of content. And there's been a bit of movement on one of the platforms, on YouTube, on Instagram. Nothing. I've just lost a few followers. If I didn't have the coach, and this was the whole point of this video, if I did not have the coach, I'm not sure how I'd be doing too well now. You've got to you've got to believe in yourself. Keep the vision alive. I contacted her and I said, listen, are you sure we're doing the right thing? I'm just losing followers here. And she said, trust me, those people are not your people. You've got to get rid of them. They're not who you're trying to attract. This is not a popularity contest. You meet people in the real world. That's where your real friends come from. Don't get validation from Instagram. It's a plastic world in many ways. You can use it to give value to people. But she said, trust me, we're going to the moon. So she keeps painting this vision and keeping this fire, this belief alive. But she's also set my expectations. She said it's not going to be easy, and it may take a while for us to pivot or persevere. You've got to figure out, you'll look at the first batch of 30 bits of content and 20% of them, which is what's happened. So 6 of them will have done much higher numbers. So you've got to figure out whether you want to double down on that content or whether you need to change your approach and figure out who you're targeting. But you measure, you take action, you measure, and then you pivot or persevere. And then you take action, measure, pivot, or persevere. Hope this helps. Yeah, reach out with any questions. All the best.